Okay, so I see yes, I see no. I'm still waiting on some people, but it's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and put the study guide in the chat. And so this is a basic breakdown of the exam here. Okay, so when we look at the breakdown, for core subjects, EC through 6, 391, is 5 hours. So for English language arts and reading, you have an hour and 10 minutes. So you have a little bit more time. You have time to highlight, you have time to strike out and process. For math too, you have an hour and 10 minutes, so you do have time to process. Now it starts to get a little short with social studies. You have 50 minutes, even though you have 40 select response questions. So you can't spend any more than like 2 minutes on each question, probably less than that. Science is 55 minutes, and that's 45 selected response questions. And then you have fine arts, health, and physical education, which is 35 minutes. And they give you 40 selected response questions. So for sure, I would start off timing myself with social studies, science, fine arts, health, and physical education. Now, before you time yourself, you do want to make sure you have, a good understanding of the questions. That's why those keywords are going to come into handy. And then once you have a good understanding of the competency and the content, I would start timing myself because the worst thing is to know the information, but then run out of time. So you definitely don't want to do that. So make sure you know the content, right? That's where the boot camp comes into play, or the REA book, or the study guide, whatever you want to use. And then once you're familiar with the content, make sure you use a timer to time yourself while you are practicing. So ELAR concepts, you have phonological awareness for sure, phonemic awareness, fluency, alphabetic principle, comprehension strategies, literal, inferential, and evaluative. ELAR concepts include decoding strategies, sight words, homophones, homographs, high frequency words, and oral language. So when we look here, let's go back to our study guide. And we're going to look at the competencies here. So for those of us who we still need help with ELAR, the first competency is oral language. And one of the things you want to remember about oral language is you want to pick answer choices where students are speaking and listening the most, right? Because this competency one is all about varied opportunities to develop listening and speaking skills. So let's go ahead and get into the competency. So you know and teach basic linguistic concepts, including phonology, which is dealing with, pronunciation, semantics, which is word meaning, and syntax. And syntax is sentence structure. So if a student was like, me want juice, sentence structure. It deals with subject-verb agreement, subject-verb inversion, and pragmatics. Pragmatics is the social use of language. So you're observing students, outside of the context of the classroom. Oral language instruction based on informal and formal assessments. Let's see, designs a variety of one-on-one and group activities, right? So this test is heavy on group activities, think, pair, share, having discussions, questioning, and sharing information, right? Because at the end of the day, we want students, learning from each other, asking questions, and developing their listening and speaking skills. That we know for sure. So next we have competency 2. And competency 2 is all about word analysis and identification skills. And once again, that's why you want to make sure you read the competency so you can pull out those keywords and study them. So the teacher understands the importance of word analysis and identification skills for reading comprehension. So this includes knowing, structural analysis or morphemic analysis, where you're breaking down a word using a prefix, suffix, root, or base word. It comes down to identifying and reading high frequency words like to, and, but, so, contextual analysis using the text around the word, understanding synonyms, antonyms, homographs, homophones, and analogies. So if I didn't know what these words were, I'm like, okay, they're in the competency, they're fair game, that they probably will pop up for a question. Let me make sure that I know that, okay? So speaking of which, we're going to go ahead and get into some questions. So we want students to be speaking and we want them to be listening because that's all language. So a fourth grade teacher notices several students who are shy and reluctant to speak in class. What strategy would be most effective in motivating students' participation in class while enhancing their listening and speaking skills, all the while they are shy and reluctant to speak? So allowing students regular opportunities to read aloud in front of the class, B, giving students opportunities to share and listen to stories in a small group setting, C, encouraging students to orally respond to high-level thinking questions, permitting students to choose which group of students they feel comfortable speaking to. All right, so think about the competency, which is all about developing listening and speaking skills. And when you're ready, go ahead and put your answer in the chat. Yeah, so it is going to be B, giving students opportunities to share and listen to stories in a small group setting for sure, because we're taking into consideration that they are reluctant and shy to speak in class. Okay. Number two, a fifth grade teacher includes a read aloud as part of language arts block. So with a read aloud, you're reading a book, you're pausing, you're asking yourself questions, you have a lot of metacognitive skills going on. So a fifth grade teacher includes a read aloud as part of the language arts block. Which of the following steps would be most appropriate for the teacher to take to help develop students' oral language skills and support students' comprehension of the read aloud text? Grouping students by reading level to complete differentiated activities related to read aloud text, giving students multiple choice questions about the main ideas and key details of the read aloud text, providing students with opportunities to use the think, pair, share strategy to discuss the read aloud text, determining students' language development levels before choosing the read aloud text. So what do we think? correct, right? Because we do want to develop students' oral language skills and support their comprehension of read aloud text. And one of the ways that we can do that is giving them opportunities to have processing time, to share out with a partner, and then share out whole group with the class to discuss read aloud text. All right, let's look at number 3. A fourth grade teacher has students write about a specific topic from the current social studies unit and discuss their written response with a group of classmates. The primary purpose for this type of activity is to develop the students' all language skills for sure. Really nice work. It is all language skills. Give me 1 second. So different concepts that we might be covering, okay? So when we look at EC through 6, different concepts we might be covering, types of syllables, different syllable types, what is a closed syllable, right? And so let's go over that and then we'll have a question and then get into word identification skills. So we have syllables. This is what, for those of you who do the EC through 6 bootcamp, this is just a quick preview. So closed, you have cup ends with a VC. So for those of us who don't know, VC is vowel, consonant. Open, it ends with a vowel, like she. So with she, the ending is an E, right? So it ends in a V, which is a vowel, so it makes it open. With closed syllables, it ends in a vowel consonant. So it's ending with a consonant, it makes it closed. Consonant vowel, long E, kite, it makes that long vowel sound. The vowel team, so these two vowels are going to work together, like goat and boat. And it's gonna take the long O sound. The R control, like park, and it does change the vowel sound. Final stable, consonant, silent E, bubble. So those are the different types of syllables, syllable type. So we know with the closed syllable, it ends in a consonant, ends in a consonant. An open syllable ends in a vowel. The vowel consonant E, like bossy, you have kite, two, right? And it makes that long sound. Take, the long vowel sound. Hide. You have diphthongs, syllable with a long, short, or unique vowel sound that uses 2 or 4 letters to spell the vowel sound. So diphthongs include hall, H-A-U-L, or fault, F-A-U-L-T. So all of these are examples of diphthongs. Final stable syllable, you have bubble, uncle, ankle, right? So just make sure you're aware of the syllables. Are controlled, syllable with a vowel followed by the letter R. The R changes the way the vowel is pronounced. So arm, R. These have R controlled syllables. Turkey. Question 1. Which of the following syllable types is the first syllable of the word excellent? It's okay if we don't get it the first time. I promise you, you'll get it before you leave. Is it a vowel team? Is it a vowel consonant with a long E? Is it a closed syllable ending in a consonant? Is it an open syllable ending in a vowel? It is D. Nice work. So a closed syllable has a consonant at the end of the syllable, right? So the first syllable in excellent is EX. And so the syllable X ends in a consonant, and that's what's going to make it a closed syllable, if that makes sense. Brandon is having a difficult time reading the word slippery, and soon after asks for help with the word underneath. Which of the following strategies would best support Brandon learning to decode these and other multisyllabic words independently? We have A, use context clues to determine the word's meaning. B, asking a nearby student for help sounding out the word. Identify different syllables of a word by circling them and then sounding out the word by syllables. Break the word apart into onset and rhyme. So when we talk about onset and rhyme, and I'm not saying that because it's the correct answer. I'm saying it because I'm just trying to make sure that I cover things that you guys see. So the word name, the initial sound or letter is the onset. So this would be the onset. Everything else, AME, would be the rhyme. So the initial letter is onset, everything else is rhyme. So remember what we were talking about. We were talking about syllables, right? So it's very important for you to like remember, hey, we're talking about syllables. So that's basically what this is going to be about syllables. To identify different syllables of the word by circling them and then sounding out the word by syllables. Now remember, they weren't asking you to comprehend anything. So when we're talking about comprehension, context clues would help. Um, but this was not comprehension. Asking a nearby student for help sounding out the word. So you could ask that nearby student, right? But that's only a temporary fix. That's not going to necessarily help you with everything that you need. Write the word into onset and rhyme. That is more a phonological awareness activity. But this one was specifically talking about syllables and being able to decode the word. So C is the correct answer, identifying each individual syllable and then sounding out the word by syllables promotes Brandon's understanding of what a syllable is and how to identify syllables in a word. All right. So we're going to go ahead and move into just some questions on certified teacher. For those of you who are familiar, great. For those of you who are not, this could also be another resource that you add to your arsenal if it makes sense for you.